Number 5. Everyone knows that working in a prison can sometimes be a dangerous job, but when things go wrong, help can come from unexpected places. I mean, this deputy was the only person on duty overseeing 60 men in the common room, so when one guy decided to rush him, he was in serious trouble.
Fast as fuck, boy.
Like, the prisoner charged him so fast that there was nothing he could do, and pretty soon he was in a chokehold he just couldn't break. Don't worry though, other prisoners soon arrived to add to the chaos, but only had one job in mind. 4 or 5 of them charged the rogue inmate, and even though they could not break his grip at first, they rescued the guard just before he lost consciousness. One prisoner even used the radio to call for backup, and the rest held the guy down while officers showed up to take him away. Without them, it's pretty certain that the officer would have died, as he was already turning purple when the guys got to him. I guess the lines between bad guys and good guys isn't so black and white after all.
Today, Deputy Ken Moon is the only lawman on duty, a fact that he is about to be brutally reminded of. Out of nowhere, one of the cons charges behind the desk, locking Deputy Moon in a lethal chokehold. Even worse.
Number 4. So the thing about this news story is that the prisoners could have done anything in that situation, but all of them decided there was only one option. The story goes that 6 of them were working to mow the grass around a graveyard, and an officer they had known for a while was watching them. The thing is, he wasn't feeling well, and even told the prisoners that his phone was in his pocket in case things got worse. Unfortunately, it did. The man dropped to his knees and then completely passed out, leaving the 6 guys to decide what to do. Now, the prisoners had the officer's gun, phone, and the keys to the van, so in that moment, they could have decided to do anything. With that said, all of them sprung into action straight away, loosening his clothes so he could breathe, calling 911, and even running to get help. It's a really good job they were so ready to lend a hand, because help arrived in no time, and the officer was able to make a full recovery. I guess it just goes to show that no matter where you're working, your co-workers are family you need to protect.
The detail officer watching this group of 6 inmates passed out.
We knew something wasn't right with him.
After saying he did not feel well, even telling the inmates where his phone was in case something happened. And sure enough, something did.
I happened to look up and I seen the officer going, he was going to his knees in a spot right behind you. And when I seen him going down, I said, hey, you all right?
I was one of the ones that actually ran back and got somebody else.
Number 3. It's a pretty popular idea that people who have committed crimes all their life can never change. But you know what? I think this story proves that's not always true. I mean, this guy had been arrested over and over and even ran from police. So when it came time to sentence him, the judge wasn't afraid to be harsh. The thing is, when another inmate in the prison attacked a female prison guard, this guy was the first one to run in and help. That's right, him and a team of other inmates managed to pull the attacker off her, and even managed to save her life. In fact, everyone who saw it was so impressed that they asked the judge to reconsider, and he did. Seriously, the judge thanked him personally for leading the rescue and doing the right thing, and said that in his jurisdiction, the guy was free to go. Even the prosecutor in the case agreed it was the right thing to do, as well as the man in charge of the prison, so who knows, maybe this will be the start of a whole new life for him. Number 2. Now you already know that this guy was pardoned for the way he jumped in to save the day.
Sorry, I did.
But as for what actually happened, well, you're about to find out. It turns out this guard was just completing a routine cell check, but when she got to one particular guy, he refused to cooperate. In fact, it's actually way worse than that, because he waited for her to step inside the cell and then jumped on her back. He pushed her to the ground and then held her there and even bit a chunk out of her ear, and all the while she was yelling for help. Thankfully, the other prisoners she was in charge of all heard her scream and jumped out of their chairs straight away to help. They rushed the cell and pulled the guy off her. One inmate in particular took charge. Number 1. Now, if you're a prisoner, breaking out of your cell is maybe the most dangerous thing you could do, which is what makes this story even more incredible. I mean, these 8 prisoners were just waiting to go to court upstairs when the officer guarding their holding cell suddenly collapsed. At first, they couldn't believe what they were seeing, but pretty soon they realized it wasn't an act at all. The guard was unconscious, maybe even dead, and all of them agreed they had to do something. So what'd they do? Well, they busted open the door of the cell and then started banging on the walls and doors, screaming for help. It worked too. Officers upstairs came straight down after hearing all the chaos, even if they thought the prisoners were trying to riot. Anyway, they finally figured out what was going on and called the paramedics, who managed to bring the officer back to life. None of that would have happened if the prisoners hadn't risked the cops misunderstanding the situation, and the story could have easily had a way less happy ending. And there's a video on the top 5 prisoners who saved guards' lives.